Great. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this session. And we will start this session with opening words. From just a second. So the opening remarks will be given by Priyanta, Senior Director of Energy, Asian Development Bank, Philippines. Priyanta, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon to all of you, and hope you all have started enjoying different events in Asia Clean Energy Forum. Distinguished speakers, presenters, panelists, and participants. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this deep dive workshop on gender-inclusive clean energy solutions to tackle energy poverty as part of the 19th Asia Clean Energy Forum here in Manila. For a number of years, the Asian Development Bank and Asian Development Bank Institute, ADBI in short, a think tank of ADB, collaborate to deliver policy relevant deep dive workshops at the Asian Clean Energy Forum. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to our co-organizers at the ADBI and my gratitude for all the continued cooperation at ASF and beyond. I'm glad to see our partnership moving from strength to strength with this kind of events, as well as many other events I sometimes contribute to for ADBI. ADB's support for initiatives that accelerate progress on gender equality is a central priority within its strategy 2030, which I am sure my colleague will elaborate on later on. The bank actively promotes gender equality and women's empowerment by integrating these goals across all its operations. As the Asia Pacific Climate Bank, the ADB also develops innovative strategies to address climate change challenges and improve access to reliable, affordable, low-carbon energy throughout the region. Just to let you know that we don't have any of the energy projects without gender elements. And that's always that has been for the last so many years. Today, we will explore the intersections between these two key themes within ADB's works, gender and energy. A topic of central importance to sustainable development, social equity, and just transition. Women are disproportionately affected by climate change and our continued reliance on fossil fuels. They spend more time collecting fuelwood for household tasks, are more exposed to the health impacts of indoor air pollution, and are underrepresented in green jobs. For these reasons and more, women stand to benefit significantly from the wider adoption of renewables and greater access to clean energy sources. As policymakers work towards to address energy poverty while accelerating environmental sustainability in Asia Pacific region, it is vital that we account for gender-specific needs and in its impacts. The complex relationship between gender and energy takes a variety of forms across Asia and the Pacific, and is marked by different challenges and opportunities in different contexts. This underscores the need for diverse perspectives and insights to effectively tackle this subject. In this deep dive workshop on gender-inclusive clean energy solutions, we welcome academic experts, national policymakers, international representatives, and private sector practitioners. Our speakers and panelists today, as well as our distinguished audience, are drawn from a broad range of national backgrounds, economic sectors, and domains of expertise. This provides the foundation for a wide-ranging and enlightening discussion. We hope this workshop will provide an intellectually enriching platform for building our understanding and sharing practical experiences, cases, and policy approaches related to gender energy nexus. Our presentations and videos will discuss the gender dimensions of fuel collection practices in Central Asia, the uptake of carbon credits in rural Mongolia, and the renewables rollout in the Maldives. Two dynamic and interactive panel sessions will explore gender and energy transition and gendered elements of energy poverty, respectively. Lastly, I extend a very warm welcome again to all participants and wish you an engaging and a productive workshop on this gender-inclusive clean energy solutions to tackle energy poverty. With your active participation, we hope to advance our common understanding on some of the central challenges of our time, build momentum towards more collectively addressing them, and accelerate progress towards women's empowerment, social equality, and a greener, more sustainable future. Thank you very much. Hope you'll have excellent deliberations throughout this session and take back whatever you learn from here to your respective countries. Implement whatever you can, whatever possible in your own spheres of expertise. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Senior Director Priyanta, for opening this session. This is a great pleasure for us. I would like to continue our session with a keynote speech from Professor Paresh Narayan. He's professor of Monash Business School. He came from Australia, and he also founder of the Asia Pacific Economic Association, APEA. Paresh Narayan, please.
Thank you, Dina. It's a real pleasure to be amongst all of you to share some of the work that I'm doing in the Asia Pacific countries, which relates to gender and energy. Thank you for inviting me, Dina, and thank you, Dil, for organizing this workshop. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to exchange ideas, particularly solutions, problems we all know. It's about how we deal with the solutions and how we implement it at the fastest speed possible. My interest in this, as I said, the Asia Pacific Applied Economics Association, of which I'm the founder and president, we work with several countries in the Asia Pacific countries, including with 8 different central banks, jointly with the Asian Development Bank Institute. And I want to draw on some of the work that we have already started, some of the discussions that we are already having in terms of how we redesign some of these solutions where we empower women, where we ensure that the access to energy is brought at a faster speed because time is of essence. Okay, who's moving the slides? Is anyone? Right, so my objective function really is not to talk about the problems because we all understand what the core issues are when it comes to gender and energy poverty. I want to focus more on what the solutions are and how we can partake with the different stakeholders in the house and the networks that we have, how we can enhance that strategic vision of empowering empowering women. You have a technical issue? Okay, so who's doing this slide? Okay. You can move to the first slide. Yeah, so again, technology is not our friend always, right? Okay, yes, got it. Yeah, so these are the key issues that that deserve particular mention. I mean, access to energy. One of the key issues there is lack of access to energy is because of the geographical boundaries that we have because of the rural-urban location, where the bulk of the informal sector activities are, where the bulk of the women seem to be located with the businesses that they do. So there is the poverty and health issues as well. We know that women tend to depend on traditional fuel sources, which exposes them to different sorts of hazards and the implications on health and productivity. There is also a lack of economic opportunities, in terms of women's employment in the energy sector. Entrepreneurship, there's lack of, or the volume is lower when it comes to women entrepreneurs in the energy industry. Representation in policy making, to what extent women are involved in decision making, in redesigning policies, in working with the different stakeholders, that's also an issue. And one of the other things, the last point there really is the social and cultural barriers, particularly in the Asia Pacific countries. We see that a lot, that the social and cultural barriers actually do not allow women to access the knowledge that is there about energy access and the benefits of it. Basically lack of awareness. Next slide, please. Okay, so these are the core issues, and there's a lot of data, there's a lot of research happening on these issues, and I'm sure that different people are going to talk about these things in the workshop here. When we go to the next slide, and that's where I want to talk about some of the solutions, building on the work that I'm doing in the Asia Pacific countries jointly with ADBI. Yes, so energy master plans and national development plans, which I believe should include gender inclusive energy policies. So I've been part of many national development plans, writing plans, energy master plans. But one of the key issues with these plans is that there's no strategic focus on how you empower women, particularly when it comes to energy transition, and then the policies and the strategies that can actually help create awareness amongst policymakers. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that when we talk about women's empowerment, when we talk about lack of energy access, that needs to be reflected in the national development plans, and of course the energy master plans, because if it is reflected, then there would be budgetary support for that from the state as well as from the different stakeholders. So that's the first thing. Next slide. In terms of SME sector plans, now there has been in the Asia Pacific countries a big push towards making the SME sector more resilient, and we know that the SME sector, a very strong component of that SME sector has got women participation. Now, the success or otherwise depends really on what sort of strategies and policies are in place to support women entrepreneurship in the SME space. And as we know, the data suggests that 70 to 80% of the SME sector contributes to the national GDP, to economic growth, right? So focusing specifically on women's access to energy in the SME sector will be, again, a way of ensuring that we encourage women entrepreneurship. We can do that through a number of ways. As I said there, access to finance obviously is a major stumbling block. Scholarships and training, short courses that focus on training that is geared towards risk management, financial management, leadership, all those things. And the biggest aspect of that all is really creating greater awareness through community engagement and education systems, because our education system is lagging behind as well. From the policy side, we have progressed. We want to see women's participation. We want to create that kind of a system which is robust, but our education system, the higher education system, the curriculums, they're not quite geared to the new way that we want to embrace sustainable growth and development. So there is an onus on the education system to embrace the policy challenges. So there needs to be that kind of integration happening as well. Next slide, please. National infrastructure planning. Now, again, this is something very important because it is really the lack of infrastructure in the rural areas that prevents women from accessing energy. And again, if you don't have that infrastructure, then obviously the energy transition is not going to take place at the particular speed that you would want. So we know that clean cooking technologies, clean heating, these are all important parts of the infrastructure planning. Now, if you don't have women as part of the strategic plans on infrastructure, then you're not going to secure enough resources to be able to do that, and that is going to affect obviously the health, and then health will affect productivity. So we understand that nexus. Last slide, please. So international cooperation and advocacy. I mean, this is a very, very important part of it. You can only advocate for resources or mobilize resources if women's participation or lack of it is acknowledged in the strategic plans, is acknowledged in the national development plans, is acknowledged in the energy master plans and the trade policy frameworks and all the decision-making plans that you have. You can only do that once you have them. So the point that I'm trying to make, and this is what the Asia Pacific Applied Economics Association is doing, is trying to work with the policymakers to revise the existing national development plans and strategic plans to embrace women's participation and access to energy so that resources can be secured. So that's okay. Sorry, the last one. I just wanted to say on that last slide, just going there, that there needs to be a monitoring process as well, and a national database is always very, very important to have, because there's no point in having policies and strategies about empowering women and having policies to ensure that there's access to energy when you're not able to monitor the progress that you are making as a nation. So there needs to be a database which can bring together a lot of the resources that can be used, say in a national conference where you share with the stakeholders, the development partners, the NGOs, the civil societies, academia, regional organizations, where you can share the progress and you can discuss the challenges that are faced in delivering on the strategic objectives. So I think this is also a very, very important part, particularly for the state to look at, to have a national database, which at the moment we don't have. Thank you very much. My time is limited, and that's where I will stop. Thank you, Dina.
Many thanks, Professor Paresh, for giving this keynote speech. So let's start with we have today two sessions. Session one today on gender and energy transition will be moderated by my colleague, Dil Rahut, Vice Chair of Research of ADBI, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. We have a very important sessions on gender and energy transitions. And in the sessions, we'll have two presentations by our friends. And then we'll have a panel discussions where different researchers will present some of the findings. And also we have policymakers who will try to share with you some of the case studies. Without wasting much time, let me take an opportunity to invite Dina Azagalvia and Hans Holzacker. Dina Azagalvia is Senior Fellow at ADBI, and Dr. Hans Holzacker is the Chief Economist at the Carrick Institute. The title of the paper that they are going to present is Empowered Women Prioritize Environment and Health Impact for Fuel Choice, Evidence from Central Asia. Please.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon again. Thanks, Dil. Thanks, Dina. I will be very brief. The substance of our paper will be presented by Dina. I just introduced a little bit the project which the Carrick Institute initiated. Can I have that? So the title is Empowered Women Prioritize Environmental and Health Impact from fuel choice, more empirical evidence from Central Asia. So the Carrick Institute is a cooperation or intergovernmental agreement of 11 countries, 5 Central Asian countries, Mongolia, China, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Pakistan, Afghanistan, but we concentrate here on Central Asia. Can I have the next slide, please? So we initiated a project called Household Access to Energy in the Fergana Valley, and this project was done by the Carrick Institute in cooperation with ADBI and also the Public Opinion Research Institute in Astana, Kazakhstan, and it was financed actually by the Asian Development Bank. So thank you. And the idea of the project was to generate data in a relatively small, compact geographical region, also to be financeable. Next slide, please. For the motivation, I show you the area in the next slide. For the motivation, I don't need to say here much, and also Dina will further elaborate on it. Just I want you to take to show you that in our sample we have roughly 50% male household heads or decision makers on energy in the households, and 50% women on purpose in the 3 countries of the Fergana Valley. Next slide, please. Okay, without the map. So the Fergana Valley spans over 3 countries, which is part of 3 countries, which is the Kyrgyz Republic, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan. And very briefly, only I show you here a lot of fossil fuels in the Kyrgyz Republic and in Uzbekistan, specifically coal. Less so in Tajikistan. There's a lot of electricity. And by the way, I said the purpose of the study was to generate original data. We have roughly 50 questions given to households in these countries, and we still are writing several papers on this. So this, which we present here, is one of the papers we are writing based on these data. We are also ready to share the data, by the way, and we have already shared with other researchers. So again, a lot of coal. Next slide, please. What is also interesting is the awareness that fossil fuels can do harm to the environment and to family health is high. So the orange bar, so basically people are aware that there's a problem. The question is how this translates and who is serious about translating this into plans to actually change things, and also, of course, the possibilities people have, the opportunities to change. Next slide, please. So just one more of the findings, and then Dina will continue. Can we still have the slide? This one here? Yes, just one finding. So among others in this research is that female households with female heads spend slightly less on energy than households with male household heads. So the red line is the general mean of the sample. But this is strongly correlated that also the income of female households is generally lower than households with male heads. With this here, we have not much time. Happy to answer any questions about the project. Dina, yeah, please.
Thank you very much. So I'll continue. Next slide, please. Yeah, next one. Yeah, so we were looking at the differences because this topic is gender, right? So we wanted to see the differences between male and female. And when you look at this graph, you don't see much difference actually. Looks like they're the same. So generally, number one, for considering what to use for heating fuel, number one is financial aspect, right? So we look at the cost price. Second, it's reliability of supply, how to get supply, because this question is really important in Central Asia because there is some issues with electricity supply and also gas, especially in winter, pressure goes down and then you cannot use, let's say, in winter. So this supply is on the second topic. And then environmental and health comes after that. Yeah, but you can see there is not much difference between male and female. Next. Yeah, so then first result we came up, I noticed, so my co-authors here, Dil and Hans, I said, oh my God, look, there is no gender difference, but we are going to present it in a gender session. So then I realized, actually, it's a good result. The difference does not come from the gender. The differences come from employment, apparently. So when we looked, women employed and not employed, that's when we see the difference. So women who prioritize more health environment. So we looked at who is prioritizing more health and environment. So we looked at women will prioritize only when they are employed. So I think this makes sense, right? Because when you're employed, you are more empowered, you have high opportunity cost, you have less time to take care of the like collecting firewood and so on. So, and you have children, they stay more at home alone, right? So you want to make them house safe so they can come to home from school. It's heated and it's safe for them to stay alone. So that's why I guess that's why empowerment here, the real difference comes in gender when woman is employed. So employing women can help with driving energy transition among households. So then they will be empowered. So actually, originally the title I put employed woman, but Hans said, no, let's title is empowered woman. So we think that employment really empowers women. So we can see here quantitative evidence that actually employed women will, they prioritize more environment and health once they employed, but there is no such impact from men. There is no difference employed men or not employed men. Then we also looked at children. So for the result is opposite. There is no difference for women, children or no children, but when men has children, that changes. So when men get children, he starts more prioritizing environment and health rather than not having children. So that's our result. So we are looking for your comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dina and Hans. Now let me invite Dr. James Kolatrajan. He is Principal Energy Specialist here at ADBI. Today, he's going to present about towards an inclusive energy transitions in South Asia, evidence from Maldives. James, you have 8 minutes.